Hello everyone, welcome back to Rat Coding YouTube channel. So this is our another video in Zoho series. So this question is a very important as well as the very easy question which has been asked in many times in Zoho interviews. Okay, so how they'll ask in the second round in Zoho interview, they'll just give you some questions. In some of them there will be just sample input and output will be given. Okay, so this question, if you see, the sample input is A1, B10, C2, D3 and sample output is like that. A1 is there na, so A is written 1 times, B10 is there, so B is written 10 times, C2 is there, so C is written 2 times and D is written 3 times. So this is how this much alone the question will be. There will be no explanation for that in case if it is there in that interview. Means by seeing that you need to understand the logic. The logic here is you need to write or print the alphabet as many times as the numbers which is immediately followed by that alphabet. Okay, so since B is immediately followed by 10, you need to print B for 10 times, and D is immediately followed by 3, you need to print D for 3 times. Likewise, you have to print it. Got it? So this is the very important question. Why? Because this question has been asked 2 to 3 times in Zoho interviews. Okay, so now let's try to start code this program and see how the output goes. Okay, fine. So this is the question. So as like in every program, see this program you can code it in any language. If your interviewer doesn't specify about the programming languages that you need to code it, you can code it in any language. But in Zoho in generally you can code in C programming language. They'll not question about why C programming and all. You can code it in C. Okay, so in all the C program, first we'll include the int main. We'll write main, and the definition for the main will be present inside this stdio.h header file, so we need to include that. So this will be our first step irrespective of what is the program in the C programming language. Okay, so as per our question, we are going to get this as an input from the user, that is this A1, B10, C2 and D3. This as an input we are going to get it from the user. How we are going to get this as an input means we are going to get it as a word or a string from the user. For that you need a character array. So what I am going to do is I am going to declare a variable data type character with a variable called word. Okay, and I'm giving some size as 100. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this input from the user and store it in this word variable. Okay, so I'm just printing the statement to the user like enter string. Okay, so what are the value the user enters? I'm getting it inside the scanf. You can use scanf or you can use getters. If you use a scanf, you no need to include anything. But if you use a getters, you need to include a header file called string.h. Why? Because the definition for this getters is present inside this string.h.header file. Like how the definition for the main present inside this stdio.h header file. Likewise, the definition for this getters present inside the string.h header file. So we can use this thing. Now let's put the printf statements, and now let's try to get it and print it. And let's check whether this getter statements work properly, fine or not. Okay, it is asking me to enter a string. I'm entering a string, the same string, C2 and D3. Okay, see, it is printing the same thing. So what it implies, the getters function works perfectly fine. Okay, so if you want, you can delete it or you can just comment it. That's fine. So now we have just got the input from the user. Now comes the main function. Like we need to print it like this, like it. Okay. So if you have seen our classes, you know we are following the modular approach, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a function called abbreviate. I'm creating a function called abbrev. Okay, and I can name it character integer abbrev. Okay, So that is an abbreviation. Character integer, I need to write it in then multiple times. Okay. So I'm naming function like this, and I'm passing word as an argument to this function. Since C language is a bottom-up approach, I need to put it above that, and this function is not returning anything. So I no need to type a return type. So char, you can just copy paste it. I'll just copy it and I'll just paste it. And inside that, I'm just declaring a character variable. As I have already explained this logic, like you can give the same name to the variable because the scope is limited within that corresponding block. So even if you give word, the compiler will not get confused. Okay, fine. This logic I've explained in most of the videos, so no issues. Now what we are going to do is, we have got the input. Now we need to separate the alphabets and the numbers from that input. Okay. To do that separation logic, we need to run through the string like one by one. What is present in word of 0? What is present in word of 1? What is present in word of 2? Likewise, we need to check it. By checking so only, we will able to identify or segregate characters and numbers, correct? So to run through like that, we need a loop, for loop. Okay, so to have a for loop, we need a variable called iterator to run through that for loop. So I'm declaring a variable called iterator, and I'm initializing the for loop with iterator equal to 0, and iterator, like how long this loop has to run, till the string length of that word. Okay, till the length of that, like string length. This is an inbuilt function in C programming language, guys. This definition for this strlen will be present inside the string.h header file. So what is the string length of word? If you give like this, what it will, how it will work means, it will take the length of the word which you are given in the bracket. Okay, so if I given like this means, the strlen, the string length of word output will be 1 2 3 4 5, like it will take count the digits and it will print you the length. So then the for loop will run for that many times. Okay, so this is the basic one, and then we are incrementing the iterator. It's always advisable to give spaces between each and every parameter so that it will be easy for you to see. Okay, so this is my for loop. I run that for loop. You can, okay, this is done, right? Now what I'm going to do is, I have to check whether the number, I mean whether the person iterator is pointing to a alphabet or a number. So I need to check it. Okay, how I am going to check it? For that, I am going to put a for loop, another for loop to do the checking operation. So this for loop has to run from iterator plus 1. Okay, so for that I am declaring another variable. See, it may look clumsy while you're seeing like I'm coding. Okay, so once the coding part is done, you can do the pen and paper approach method to solve the program. By doing so, you'll easily able to understand the flow of the program. Okay, so what is this iterator 1 assigning? I'm assigning, or else to avoid the confusion, I can rename it to iterator 1 and I can rename it to iterator 2 to avoid the confusion. Iterator 1, and I'm replacing everywhere. Okay, so what is iterator 2? Iterator 1 plus 1. So let me tell you how it works. So first, in this iterator 1, it points to A. Correct, it points to the first index, that is word of 0, A. Okay, I have taken the A. First always it will be the character. So I have taken A. Now I need to take how many times it has to get printed. Okay, I need to take the number. The number next to the character can be a one number, like once in one digit, or it can be in two digit, or it can be in multiples of digits. I don't know. Okay, so what I have to do is, I have to go to the position which is immediately next to that of the iterator 1. Why? Because I know iterator 1 is a character. Now I need to take the integer value, like I need to take the number, like how many count I need to take it. For that I need to take all the values which is present immediately after the first character and immediately before the second character. Correct. So I am starting my iterator 2 index at this position of 1. Okay, so I'm starting it right here. Okay, so I'm starting it right here, and from here what is my condition is, I need to check whether the iterator 2, where the iterator 2 is pointing now, iterator 2 is pointing in this 1, correct? So I need to take the value like word of iterator 2. It's a character, guys, remember, it's a character. So I need to check it. While checking it, I need to put it in a single quotes. So word of iterator 2 should be greater than 0 and word of iterator 2 should be less than or equal to 9. This is what I need to check it. And then I need to increment the iterator for the loop to get run. You just see the logic. First I'm just assuming the iterator is pointing at the index called A, and I'm assuming iterator 2 is pointing at the index of 1, that is iterator 1 plus 1. Okay, and what is the value which is present here? I'm checking it whether the value which is present is greater than or equal to character 0, less than or equal to character 9. So basically I'm taking the numbers which are present immediately after the character. In case, imagine for the first time of this second iterator loop runs, the value 1 will be, the condition satisfies. Why? Because iterator 2 is 1. See, for the first time it runs, iterator 1 is 0, correct? And the time iterator 2 is 1. So word of 1 is 1, correct? Because you see, word of 1 index is with a character 1. This is A1, correct? A1. So the condition becomes satisfies because it is lies between 0 and 9. So it comes inside the loop. The operation that I'm going to do, I'll tell you now. But this is how this loop will runs, okay? For the next time this iterator 2 get incremented, then it will become 2. Iterator 2 will become 2. Now word of 2 will be B. So this condition fails. So it comes out of this for loop. Okay, so this is how this loop will work. Okay, fine. So this is the logic. Now I am going to I'm checking whether the number which is present after to my character is a number, like number which is present 0 and 9, between 0 and 9. Okay, I'm checking. Now how I am going to convert it to a variable, like integer variable, because it is a character. I can't do any operations with a character. How I'm going to convert it to a number? So to do that, I'm declaring another variable called count. I'm assigning it to 0. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm doing count equal to count into 10 plus word of iterator 2 minus 0. I'm putting it in a bracket. So what is this logic, ma'am? This logic is simple. Assuming the number 10. Okay, assuming now iterator 2 is pointing to 0, 1, 2, 3. Assuming iterator 2 is at the position of 3. Now word of 3 is 1. The value of word of 3 is 1. So it comes inside this loop. So my count is 0 initially. So 0 into 10 is 0. Plus word of 3 is 1. So it's a character 1. Remember guys, it's a character 1. 1 minus character 1 minus character 0. I've already told you guys about the ASCII number, correct? So the ASCII value of 0 is 48 and ASCII value of 1 is 50. So if it is a character and you are doing an arithmetical operation to that character, automatically the value of the character get replaced by the corresponding characters ASCII value integer. Okay, this operation has been done by the compiler itself. So how it will become? It will become 49 minus 48. So the answer is 1. So basically, if you subtract a character with the character of 0, if you do so, you will get the original character in a integer format. That is the logic. Okay, so this is the basic logic guys, because we are just subtracting, no, so the integer value gets subtracted, so I'm basically getting 1 here. So the count is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. So now the count value is replaced by 1. Now this for loop will get incremented again. If it get incremented, the iterator 2 value will become 4. Okay, so what is word of 4? Word of 4 value is 0. So word of 4 value is 0. So it comes now here. Now count is 1. Okay, so 1 into 10, the count value is now 10. Okay, 10 plus, now word of 4 is 0. 0 minus, this is also character. So character 0 minus character 0, which gives you 0. So then how it will be? It will be 10 plus 0. So the resultant is 10. So the count is replaced by 10. So the functionality of this for loop is to take or to identify the number or number of times the character has to repeat. Okay, so basically we need to take this 10, right? So to take that 10 or 2 3 like that number only, we are using this for loop. This is the functionality of this for loop. Okay, I'm just removing this explanation part. So fine, I hope you guys understood it. The functionality of this for loop is to take the number, this 10 1 2 3, like to segregate the number. Okay, because we have already segregated the character in the first iterator. Now we need to identify like how many times the character has to print. That identifying part has been taken care by this iterator 2. Fine. Now once it is done, that will come out of the second for loop. So now I'm assuming another variable called position. Okay, so why this position, ma'am? Why? Because you see, this now iterator 1 is pointing at 0. Okay, my iterator 2 will become this point, that is 1. Now after this end of, like after I have printed the A for one time, I need to move to B. That is, my iterator 1 has to move to the position of B. In like it has to jump from 1 to like A to B, that is 0 to 2. It has to jump index. Okay, so how will you know like from where to go to where? How will you know that? So to determine that, we are taking a variable called position and we are replacing the value for the position with iterator 2. Okay, so why? Because this for loop will run till it sees the immediate another character. Correct. This for loop will run till iterator 2 reaches B. Correct. Similarly, for the next iteration, this for loop will run till it reaches C. So the index of the iterator 2 at this point will be the, or it has to be the next index for the iterator 1. Okay. So that is why position 2, we are assigning a position variable with value of iterator 2. Okay. Fine. And one more thing, guys, since we are going to assign this position value at the end of this for loop, what I am going to do, I am going to replace iterator 1 equal to position. Okay, so since I am going to do this, what I have to do is, or you can put it, since I am going to replace this iterator 1 equal to position, I should not use this iterator 1 plus plus, because if I use iterator plus plus over here, even though I have assigned the position value to the iterator 1 here, the value will get replaced and it will get incremented. So the wrong data will be pointing up or popping up. Okay, so the assignment to the iterator has to be done either inside the for loop or at the syntax of the for loop, not at the both ends. You just keep that in mind. Okay, fine. So you can ask me, ma'am, why position equal to iterator 2 and iterator 1 equal to position? Like doing like this, you can directly assign iterator 1 equal to position. No, you cannot do that, because we need a position of iterator 1 and iterator 2 to print the values, because we not yet printed it, right? We need to print it in the output screen. So for that, I'm using another variable called I'm using another for loop with the same iterator 2. Okay, and then I'm running this loop till count times. Okay, and then iterator 2 plus plus. I need to run this loop for that many times and I'm printing it, the character. What is this character now? It's a word of iterator 1. So basically inside this for loop, what I am doing, I'm just running this loop for the count times. This, what is this count? This count is nothing but the number, like how many times the character has to print. That value will be taken and having it in the count variable. So I'm using this for loop, and this for loop will run for these many times to print what? To print the character called A, B, C, like that. Okay, fine. So after this, I'm just reassigning iterator 1 equal to position. So this is the code. And after that, you need to reassign count equal to 0. Why? Because at the start of each and every time, the count has to start from 0, or else it will lead to the wrong number, wrong calculation of the number. Okay. So this is the program, guys. This program is very simple, but you need to spend some amount of time to understand the logic. Okay. So I have explained it clearly. Let me run it and show it to you. Before that, I'll tell you one hint. That is an approach called pen and paper approach. Okay. So what it is, ma'am, means you need to write the entire program, starts from mash include until the main close brackets. Till then, you need to write it in a paper, and then using your pen, you need to check how the flow goes. Starts from the main word. You need to assign a memory space in the paper itself and name it as word, and then you need to enter a string, you need to write it, and then you need to get the string, and then now the function comes, so it goes back to the function. So each and if once you go see the for loop, means each and every iteration of the for loop, what is the process happening inside it. So this is called pen and paper approach. Every programmer has to start with this approach. Okay, so if you are a beginner, or if you don't understand any program, even though you are a pro in C but you don't understand any of the program, well, you come across any Google pages and all, so what you have to do is you just take a note and write the program and do that pen and paper approach, so that you'll be able to understand any program easily with a less amount of time. Okay, so if you don't know how to do that pen and paper analysis approach methods, I've explained that method in a detailed manner in many videos in code analysis series. There is a series which we have stopped right now. So I've analyzed some of the videos using that pen and paper approach, in which will be present in that series. I'll give link of some of the videos in the cards. I'll give link of that playlist in the description also. You go check any one of the video from that playlist and see how the pen and paper approach is working or doing. Based on that, you try to implement the same to this program as well. Okay, because this is a very important code. Once in 3 to 4 years, this question is repeating in Zoho. Okay, so now let me run this program. It's asking me to enter a string. Now I'm entering the same string, that is A1, B10, C2 and D3. If I click enter, you see my output A is printing 1 times and B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. C is 2 and D is 3. So if you want to check for another variables, I'll just run it again, and I'm giving a value for A0 and B some 99 and C some 7 and D some 1 and E some 3, G some 4, like something. You see, I have given A0, so A is not printing. B I have given 99, it's printing 99 times, and C, D, E, G. Okay, fine. So this is how the program will work, guys. So what as I said earlier, just try to do that pen and paper approach, and you will be able to ace this program very easily. Okay, so with this, we'll come to end of this video. Like this, there are many series we have started and present in our YouTube channel, like One Code One Day series and aptitude series, group discussion, much more are there. Just go to those playlists and check all the videos and get an insight out of it. Okay, everything will be very useful for you guys to your interviews. Fine. Now let's see in another interesting video like this soon. Till then, bye bye, take care.